The United States? Don't get me wrong. I love the U.S. at times. But that ain't the world. There ain't no flags in the NBA.
He's going to go in for the dunk, and Lithuania have dodged a bullet. They have beaten the USA.
World champion of what?
Canada, they have won the third-place game against the United States.
World champion of what?
There it is. Gets to Schroeder, he throws it up, and the Germans have done it! They have stunned the United States in the semifinals!
Team USA has been the subject of mockery across the world for a while since their recent humiliation at the 2023 FIBA World Cup. And while it all started with the track star Noah Lyles taunting the credentials of NBA champions, calling themselves world champions, the so-called world itself hasn't held back either in piling on the dirt over these players. Spectators and fans have been furious, and for all the right reasons, especially after the team was predicted to have a winning campaign, even if it wasn't going to be spectacularly triumphant.
They lost this really for one reason. They just didn't have enough size. There was some strategy issues, there was some logistical issues, there was some fouls early on in this game. Germany was hot at times shooting from the outside, but really it just came down to they couldn't control possession right from the first possession of the game.
And this has inevitably poked the bear, if you know what we mean.
I don't care, he's old. I poke bears. I don't respect no one until they come and give me 40.
And the bear, or the lion, so to say, is really angry and assembling his band of boys in the background to take on the challenge and reclaim the glory of his team. Because if the reports are to be believed, LeBron James is back in the mix to take Team USA all the way to the 2024 Paris Olympics. But the question really remains, can the king really do it? Can he and his brothers in arms take Team USA back to the good days of glory? Let's see how they stack up. Well, if we start off with a look at the current roster, even a casual fan with a basic eye test can point out how there's no one in this roster with prior national team experience, and it only has a total of 3 one-time All-Stars, 2 of which played their first All-Star game in 2023, and 1 who was an All-Star back in 2020. And when you put Jalen Brunson as captain, no offense to him, the expectations kinda sound a little far-fetched anyway. But that's where the big man has reportedly picked up the phone and said enough, because Shams Charania and Joe Vardon of The Athletic have reported that LeBron James is ready to commit for next summer and has also called multiple stars to essentially recruit them to join him with USAB in Paris. The same article also talks about one major reveal, where it mentions who James is recruiting for this mission, as it very tactfully states that James has spoken to Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis, Jason Tatum, and Draymond Green, and they are all prepared to commit as well. Separately, Phoenix's Devin Booker, Portland's Damian Lillard, Sacramento's De'Aaron Fox, and Dallas's Kyrie Irving also have serious interest in committing, league sources said. It's clear that the team isn't in the best shape possible right now under coach Steve Kerr, and LeBron James's renewed interest might just be what the team needs to have faith for another gold medal run in Paris next year.
Bruh.
Now, what is essentially being billed as the last dance of its own kind for these veterans, especially the likes of LeBron, Steph, and KD, it remains to be seen how they respond when the opportunity actually materializes, which will happen somewhere around or after the All-Star break. There are no surprises that with age, all 3 of them have struggled with injuries in recent seasons, and despite their mercurial abilities and a revived interest in putting them in the Team USA uniform, the power of friendship might not cut it this time. And it's not up to us for being critical, because with LeBron turning 39 and eyeing to perhaps play with his son, who, by the way, is also looking to make a recovery after his worrisome cardiac arrest, and with KD and Steph also in their 30s, the idea of stacking up a team with firepower and getting old legends is a rather dicey one. Also, especially because the precedence has more or less been to pass the baton to the next generation, this speaks volumes about 2 main things. Number 1 being the overall quality of the current roster, and number 2, the people who actually selected this roster, which had its shot at glory but crashed and burned at the recent FIBA World Cup. But keeping the criticism of the past aside and speculating on the beauty of the uncertain future, the question is, who can actually be in the starting 5 of this Team USA in 2024, provided everyone stays healthy and commits when the phone rings? Brian Whitehorse had his say on the matter, and so did Zach Lowe. And the latter also made an interesting case that he would actually prefer someone like Bam Adebayo over Anthony Davis at center, while keeping the core of LeBron, Steph, KD, and Jason Tatum.
I'm going Steph, Jason Tatum, Kevin Durant, Team USA legends all, LeBron James, and at center, I'm going Bam Adebayo. You could argue for Anthony Davis, that's fine.
Zach was also quick to point out who his other guys would be, and he specifically named one player who he would want in the lineup because he would want some nasty on the roster. Any guesses who he was talking about? If yes, do leave your answers in the comments section below and let us know. But here's Zach giving us his take.
I gotta have Jimmy Butler because I need a little nasty on this team.
Another interesting aspect which came out of this discussion was the idea to persuade a certain someone named Joel Embiid to play for this team by changing his nationality from French to American. We're not sure if the name rings a bell, but we've heard he's a half-decent player who's apparently the reigning MVP as well. And his services can come in handy to defend against the likes of Nikola Jokic as well, should Team USA encounter stiff competition from such players at the main tournament. But if you were stacking up a team full of legends to compete at next year's Paris Olympics, who would be your starting 5 and reserve 5? Let us know in the comments section below. Fans are definitely excited at the prospect of these multi-time NBA champions taking one last shot for their nation, and comparisons in mind immediately spring up when you compare this decorated of a roster to the likes of the Dream Team as well as the Redeem Team. And interesting enough, this so-called Redeem Team version 2.0 will only have one superstar who will look to repeat his heroics from the 2008 gold medal run, and that man is LeBron James. However, if that reworked Redeem Team from the 2012 Olympics is looked at as well, LeBron was again a name that was repeated, but this time he was joined by some familiar names who might contend in 2024 as well, with those being Kevin Durant and Anthony Davis. And if we compare it to the Dream Team of 1992, it still fared slightly better in terms of repetition, because in 1996, 5 players including Charles Barkley, Karl Malone, Scottie Pippen, David Robinson, and John Stockton made it to the roster for the second successive Olympics, which again, like 2012, had resulted in a second successive gold medal run. As for the veterans in this team, there are chances for Kevin Durant actually becoming the only player with 4 gold medals in the Olympics, followed by LeBron James and Draymond Green, who would look to match Carmelo Anthony's record of 3 gold medals. And when it comes to World Cup winners, Steph Curry holds the unique distinction of being the only one with 2 World Cup gold medals to his name, and he could take a shot at his first Olympic gold as well. The story sounds too perfect to be true, and it perhaps most certainly is, because be that as it may, the team will have to at one point look beyond retaining the services of their veterans and take international basketball more seriously via its young core, especially because they finished 7th in 2019 and 4th in 2023, returning without medals in both editions. But despite the bigwigs joining in, the names of Bam Adebayo, Desmond Bane, Joel Embiid, and multiple other players have been floated around to make the almost perfect roster, which has a good balance of some players in their prime, some young and some veterans, who will most likely be led by Steve Kerr once again. But when it comes to coaching changes, who would you rather see if you had the chance to change the coaching staff? Would you go with Kerr or would you want someone else? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. It's worthy of noting that success at international tournaments is a very unpredictable affair, and it's a much shorter format compared to NBA's regular season, or even the playoffs. So it will come down to not only committing to the roster, but committing to the cause for ensuring success and not crashing after sending legends to compete in a rather disjointed fashion, especially after you're calling it the last dance. So what do you think? Can LeBron James and company really go all the way? Will they even commit, or will this story wash away like it never happened? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And on that note, we come to the end of this video. Do drop a like if you enjoyed our take on this, and click on the subscribe button to join our growing community. It's free of cost. Come on! Do let us know your thoughts in the comments about this selection dilemma for Team USA, and we will see you in the next one.